God be with you.
I know who was buried in that grave. A young charcoal burner.
So begin the tragic tale of the young charcoal burner who became entangled with the devil himself.
No, don't start. What devil? I'm trying to tell you. Ugh. He was from Ledechko. He was trying to eke out a living for himself and his wife, but he couldn't manage. When she fell pregnant, he took to stealing.
Pride drove him from the straight and narrow path, and soon he sold his soul to the devil to fill his stomach.
They caught him and punished him, but some of the people he'd robbed didn't think it was enough. Then when his wife died in childbirth, and the child too, he blamed everyone for it. Even God, apparently.
But when the time came to pay his debt to hell, the devil had no use for his soul, and took his wife and child instead. The charcoal burner cursed God, who struck him down in righteous vengeance. But the dead man's soul never left his body. He came back as a revenant to vent his rage at God and men and take vengeance on the living.
Jesus, did you listen to what I said at all?
Sorry, did you say something?
Well, never mind. What do you want me to do with it?
The question is, what would the revenant do to get revenge on the villagers? Well, apprentice?
He was stealing food from people, right? So, supposing he started again.
We should steal from people? Disgraceful. Have you no shame?
Maybe just a few eggs from hen coops, like the gossip mentioned.
Well, that wouldn't be too serious a sin. Will they put it down to the revenant, though?
They would, if I put some charcoal there instead.
And their nourishment he turned into ash.
The gossip mentioned the butcher. It seems he was infuriated that the charcoal burner's punishment was too lenient.
And the revenant spoiled their meat with his malign touch.
How's that?
Spoiled meat is a classic example of a revenant's power.
I thought it was the work of bad butchers.
That too, sometimes.
So, I should switch the good meat for bad at the butcher's. What about the butcher woman?
What about her?
Her conscience was troubled on account of her man and she couldn't sleep. But I helped her, so she found some peace.
So, no problem then.
What? I'm supposed to scare the wits out of her and start all over again?
All right, if you can find some other solution, you don't have to switch the meat. But I wouldn't worry about her. But make sure it's the same kind of meat. Not even a revenant will turn a cow into a chicken.
What about his wife and child? No doubt he'd want to avenge their death.
Well, how did they die?
In childbirth.
And when his love turned to rage, the water turned to blood. Nothing too original, but it's tried and tested. If you do it at the baths, everyone will hear of it.
How am I supposed to do that? It might be a bit suspicious if I'm seen walking around with a pail of blood.
No problem. There's a certain potion that will do the trick easily.
He cursed God. That's very serious.
What is it that most brings God to mind?
They don't have a church there. But everyone will have a rosary. I can't think of anything else.
That's it! If folks start losing their rosaries, they'll have sleepless nights over it.
You want me to steal rosaries? But that's...
Or just exchange them.
For what?
For nothing.
Great.
So, switch eggs for charcoal, switch the meat, color the water in the baths, and switch the rosaries. That ought to do it. I hope so. Of course, if you come up with anything else, don't let me hold you back. Talking to people might give you ideas. Traders, the bailiff.
But what if someone sees me in the act?
They mustn't. Otherwise, it'll end up like Sasau all over again. Don't draw attention to yourself, or they'll put two and two together.
Sure. I'll keep my head down. And how will I know if I've succeeded? I doubt it'll be announced on the market square.
I'll be the first to know. They'll come running to me for a remedy, like hens at feeding time. Off you go and raise hell.
But whatever he did, don't you think he deserves some peace?
Dear Henry, after all the poor wretch went through, I'd say he's beyond any peace.
Well, he certainly won't have any as long as I'm carrying his bones around with me.
Ah, but you know who those remains could help.
Help? Who? How?
Me, of course. And I'd pay you a nice price for a revenant's bones.
But there is no revenant.
Not yet. What do you say?
Maybe I should bury him somewhere else.
What are you saying? That would be such a waste. Anyway, if someone saw you, the whole game would be up.
Well, supposing I do it later, when the fuss has died down.
All right, if you must. But I don't know what you hope to get out of it.
At least the poor wretch will have peace at last.
Maybe. As long as you bury him in hallowed ground. Otherwise, you're wasting your time.
Like in Rat-Eye, maybe?
Well, that's probably the nearest. That gossip-mongering crone would know.
True, I could ask her.
If you must. But for heaven's sake, don't even hint to her what you're up to. May the Lord watch over you. my potions made from magical herbs plucked from... God be with you.
What's the recipe?
You mean for...
Well,
Pay close attention.
I'm all ears.
How love once he... But this they did. But the maid, anguished at the tragedy, there...
I thought you were going to tell me the...
It is the recipe. I mean, the recipe...
What on earth? All right. Great.
But I know it was a simple recipe. It should be enough to grind the ingredients and brew them together for one. So, all you have to do is work out...
Sure. What about the dead man? What? All right.
Splendid. Revenant bones. They'll be... God be with you.
So?
What?
That's still not...
You've hardly... May the Lord watch over you. May the Lord watch over you. Take care now.
Hey, hey! What are you playing at here?
Hosts baked in the temple of Jerusalem.
Halt! Surrender! You'll have
Stop!
to answer for your
Henry!
law. It's you! You crippled someone! Well, you were...
Hosts baked
But
in
I
the
would-
temple of Jerusalem. Has your manhood been wilting of late? Then buy this powder made of a unicorn's horn. Rare merchandise from all over the world. The relics of saints from Italy. Altar candles from France. And pieces of cloth all the...
Jesus Christ be praised.
About that
Yes,
Yes, I need it right away.
I understand. I'm sure you'll be more than satisfied with it.
But I won't be drinking it, fortunately.
God be with you.
Rare spices and tinctures, magical elixirs and amulets, miraculous ointments, and remarkable remedies.
Henry, I want to thank you for that generous donation to the infirmary. I'm glad you and Pavel didn't forget us. What do you need?
Can we do something about the price?
Well, we can try it.
I can't. I just can't.
Are we agreed?
More.
Are we agreed?
Come now, just a little more and we have a deal.
I'll go for that.
The shot must have come from here. So where is that bastard?
That trial.
Surrender! You're under arrest for
I never
breaking
thought it
the
would
law.
go so far.
I was hoping too for a more lenient verdict. Johanka was a good girl. It's not for me to question the bishop's decision, but I'm deeply sorry for the poor child. May Our Lady in her mercy forgive her and intercede for her, and us too, for burying her in hallowed ground.
We did the right thing. For her and for Matthias. Thank you for helping me with it. It's what she deserved.
You're right, but you must never speak of it. It must remain between the two of us, all right?
Of course. Rest assured.
Bye. Surrender! You're under arrest for breaking the law.
All right, you win.
I've had reports that you've been attacking people's animals. Now you'll be sorry. You should have thought twice about what you're doing. That would land you a fat fine.
I can't sleep again.
Are you pulling?
If that's how you...
Damn it! Here's your call.
You paid for your crime.
I won't get any sleep. I just won't get any sleep. quiet. Can't. I just can't.
Could do with a bite to eat.
You can't just walk around in the dark. You have to have a light. It's the law.
Greetings. What business have you?
I got you that potion from the charlatan.
What charlatan? He's a man of learning who even cured the Pope of impotence. But thanks, Henry. I really appreciate your help. Once I drink this potion, every woman will faint at my feet. But I'm only interested in one. The fairest creature on God's green earth.
Yeah, the butcher's daughter, I know. And then what?
A rendezvous. She and I, under the cloak of night. And you shall be my herald of exalted words. You will hide and prompt me from a book of poetry.
I'll do what?
Here's a book of poems. I'll need a little time to get ready. Meanwhile, you can learn some poems off by heart. You'll prompt me.
Learn poetry? Me? That sounds... well, not exactly...
Stop wasting time and get to it. Come back to me in a couple of hours. I have to get dressed up and groomed, and it'll take a while before the potion takes effect.
Goodbye. Look out!
Show me what you've got concealed. Well then. What? For security reasons.
What's that to do with me? Don't you know who I am?
Right. That is, certainly. Welcome. Welcome.
Must eat.
Good fella.
That's my boy.
Rare spices and tinctures, magical elixirs and amulets, miraculous ointments, and remarkable. Good health to you. Good luck to you.
God be with you, good wife. Has something happened here?
Heavens no. It's quiet here, unlike some other places.
And what about that empty grave?
What empty grave would that be now?
The one beyond the village, alongside the road to Sasau. Just by the river, on the Pine Headland.
How would you know it's empty? Unless it was dug up.
Oh, it's dug up, all right. Freshly. And empty. I saw it with my own 2 eyes.
Lord in heaven. What in the name of...
How come it's not in hallowed ground, anyway? Only unrepentant sinners are buried like that. Usually.
I don't like to say. It's an old wound that's best forgotten.
Whose grave is it?
Well, once a long time ago there was a young charcoal burner living here with his wife. There was always a lot of charcoal burners here, but this fellow worked alone. That's not an easy job for one man.
Well, no one wanted to work with him, or what?
Ah, he was a hard-headed fellow who always wanted to take care of his family himself.
Well, only then you've no one to blame but yourself if you end up alone.
His wife was expecting, though no one knew it yet. And he wasn't doing well at all. Soon enough they had nothing to eat. And so he took to thieving.
Well, I can understand him. To watch your family suffer like that. What could he do when they were going hungry?
If we'd known how badly off they was, folk would have helped out. But he kept his troubles to himself.
And did he get caught?
Well, at first it was just a few eggs going missing from people's hen coops. But then it was anything that wasn't nailed down. And in the end, they caught him.
And I suppose he was harshly punished for it.
Even then he didn't let on why he was doing it. They whipped the skin off his back and banished him from Ledetchko.
So justice was done then?
It wasn't enough for some folk. When the butcher found out he'd never get any compensation, he wanted them to chop off the charcoal burner's hands. If the bailiff hadn't talked sense into him, he'd have done it himself with his cleaver.
Well, you got off lightly enough then.
And in the end, he got what was coming to him, and more.
The butcher caught up with him.
No. It was the mills of God turning slowly but surely. His wife bled to death in childbirth, and the child died with her.
God have mercy on their souls.
Amen.
Nothing could have been done to save them.
There was no one there. He had no one who would care for his wife. They say on that day he parted ways with God forever, and he turned his back on the village too. I reckon he never forgave himself, nor us either.
The Lord moves in mysterious ways. But how did he end up?
Don't ask me that, lad. I beg you.
Sorry, good wife. Let's leave it be.
Thanks, lad.
I know who was buried in that grave. A young charcoal burner.
So begins the tragic tale of the young charcoal burner who became entangled with the devil himself.
Oh, don't start. What devil? I'm trying to tell you. He was from Ledechko. He was trying to eke out a living for himself and his wife, but he couldn't manage. When she fell pregnant, he took to stealing.
Pride drove him from the...
Then... What about his wife and child? No doubt he'd want to avenge their death.
Well, how did they die?
In childbirth.
And when his love turned to rage, the water turned to blood. Nothing too original, but it's tried and tested. If you do it at the baths, everyone will hear of it.
How am I supposed to do that? It might be a bit suspicious if I'm seen walking around with a pail of blood.
No problem. There's a certain potion that will do the trick easily.
He cursed God. For he. How's what?
Oh. So I hope. So.
Sure.
Oh.
But whatever.
Dear.
What is hell?
Me.
At least, like it. True.
Take care now. No luck at dice? Rabbit paws of all colors, shapes,